Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Became the Shadow of Konoha. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. Also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was the hope of the Uchiha clan on this channel that I posted earlier guys. And over in Anime King 3, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto was exiled from the Sasuke clan, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And also, I posted a brand new episode over Anime King 2 of What If Naruto was the legendary Uchiha X Namikaze, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, both Naruto and Sakura were making their way through the streets, as Sakura told him that there was an attack on some local bandits a few days ago, as she said that the ANBUs would be jealous of this person's work. As she and Naruto made their way, as they made their way towards the Inazaka compound, where Kiba was, as Kiba was angry at Naruto for some reason. He challenged Naruto for a battle, and Naruto was one to never, turn down a battle, so he agreed, as Kiba had a smirk on his face when he said that. But Naruto and the team was sent out on a mission before he could endeavor in that battle, as they were sent to take care of some Konoha missing ninjas. When they arrived there, as they started to attack them, one of the missing ninjas said that they were doing this to help the others, as Naruto didn't quite understand what he meant by that, help the others. But he had to kill him same way, as the bloodlust took over. When he came to, he saw Sai, telling him to calm down, as Naruto realized he was tearing through someone with his teeth. As Sai saw him, Sai did not judge him, as Naruto was thankful for that. They managed to save the fat nephew of the daimyo, as they brought him back. The man was arrogant, and Naruto wanted to rip him apart the way he spoke. As they made their way, one of the peasants dared to touch him. The man ordered for Naruto to kill him, but Naruto denied, as the man said that he was really going against him. Does he know who he is? Sai moved forward and sliced the man's head off without hesitation. And in that, as they made their way, the daimyo didn't even notice that the man had returned, or more or less that he was gone, as one of his advisors had to inform him of who this fat man was again, his nephew, yes. As he also spoke Naruto and asked Naruto to join the Guardian 12, but Naruto denied that he couldn't join the Guardian 12, as he was still a part of Konoha. The village needed him. As the man told him that anytime he was ready, the position would still be open for him. As Naruto had went back to the place where the people were, as he gave them all the ramen that he had, he cooked a big meal for them. As Naruto then realized what the man said in the cave. Those missing ninjas were these people family who had lost everything to the reason of the taxes. As Naruto couldn't believe it, and yet he killed those people, those missing ninjas who were just trying to help their families. When he came back to Konoha, he tried to swallow all that negativity, as he could not let the people see their hero in a bad state like this. And he met up with Kiba, and to his shock, Hinata was there, but it was her forehead. Hayashi had died in a war, and Hinata was branded a branch member. As she was angry, now he noticed her. Despite her trying back in the past, but now he noticed her. She was angry at him as she just wanted to be left alone. Naruto was pissed off as he went towards the office to talk to Tsunade, as she told him that she couldn't do anything about this, as the clans have the right to do what they please. And also, what about the people? As Tsunade told him that the taxes were raised because Konoha needed help after paying destruction and the finances of the war. As Naruto couldn't believe it. So what was the point of him becoming Hokage if he couldn't change a damn thing? If he couldn't stop one member of Tiger Clan from removing that mark? As Naruto didn't see the point anymore. As Tsunade wondered when did his dream become a nightmare. So yeah guys, that was basically that's what if you guys can switch across to the place check for yourself, so this begin this new episode. Naruto jumped out of bed, as cold sweat was all over his body. As he looked towards the clock, 3 hours. 3 hours of sleep was the only thing he got. Every time he closed his eyes, he had this hellish nightmare. where he saw his friends. They were all ripped and torn apart around him. And he tastes the feeling of flesh in his mouth as Naruto collapsed back on the bed. He was no longer hearing the fox's voice because he tightened the seal. But the fox could still send images to his mind, and the nightmares, he could not stop those. As Naruto wondered when did he had gone from becoming Hokage to finding world peace, just to find a reason to get up out of bed in the morning. He then sniffed the air as he smelled something. Breakfast. But then he smelled Sakura. Cherry blossom overwhelming smell. As he pulled himself out of bed, Sakura, their hair pinned up, humming a tune as water boiled. Sakura, said Naruto. Breakfast is almost ready, she said. As Naruto made his way, and he collapsed into his chair in the kitchen. Coffee, said Sakura. Naruto crunched his nose up. That stuff is disgusting, he said. No, it's not, she said. You just have to find the right mix for you. As she looked over at his eyes, as she saw the rings, as she added, more cream and sugar. Try that, she said, as he put it to his lips. He frowned. More sugar, he said. The whole thing is just gonna be sugar, she said, as she added more sugar. Naruto tasted once again. It was just bitter and sweet enough to mask the taste in his mouth. Perhaps he could get used to this after all. As he watched Sakura, he knew that she had work today. Granny sent you, didn't she? She noticed Naruto's bitter expression. She's just worried about you. She said that you went off the deep end yesterday. I'm fine, said Naruto. You're obviously not, said Sakura. As she finished breakfast and placed it on the kitchen table. Boiled fish, miso soup, and white rice. Breakfast was the least she could do, considering that Snazzy gave her the morning shift off. She told me that you came in through the front door, and left through it. So, said Naruto, normal people use the door. Not you, said Sakura, as she sat down. He didn't move at all. Bad mission, she said. She saw his shoulder slump. It happens to everyone, she said. We all have those bad days. As she started to eat slowly. How would you know, said Naruto? You're in the hospital. You're not out there. She shoved the table back as it collided directly in his chest. I might not be taking open missions anymore, but I'm the one that has to patch everyone up when they come back from the mission. I see it every day, she said. When I first started to work, I had a hard time adjusting, especially when I became head medic of the hospital. I had to realize some patients had more prestige over others because of who they are. Ninja families come before civilian families, and that means sometimes people have to die. That little fairy tale world I've been living in was just a grip on innocence before I was forced to become an adult. I know, Naruto, she said. I know. Well then, said Naruto, what do you do? When there's no more fairy tales, she said, and I realize this world is screwed up. Get drunk. Well, that's Eno's solution. I prefer coffee. That night was crazy. It was my first real hangover. Why haven't I heard any of this, said Naruto. I didn't want to bother you, she said. After the war, you were tired enough. You had just inherited the protection of the entire village on your shoulders. I didn't want to be selfish. Sakura, I would have done what, Naruto, she said. Tell me that you were going to become Hokage and fix everything. You're going to make a promise that you're going to find peace. Like it was just some lost stack. Ensure that everyone live happily, and that no one will ever die on my operating table again. It had taken her a long time to come to terms with it. People die, she said. That's what we do. I wouldn't have, as he looked at her. I mean, He lowered his head as he remembered those starving people. You're right. I can't fix everything. I know that now. It doesn't mean you have to give up those, she said. I'll be fine, said Naruto. No, you won't, she said. You are not invincible. You might have a demon inside of you, but you're flesh and bone just like the rest of us. I'm not gonna be moping around when I know I can make a difference, she said. Now, you better eat that, she said. I made it for you. She was giving him one of those looks. She was gonna hate him if he did not eat. As it tasted bland, but she cooked it for him, with her time and effort. You know, she said, the Hokage has me working on a pill that will alleviate the Hyuga branch member's headache. As Naruto looked at his plates, pill did not solve the problem. He thought to himself, what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to give up on your dreams of becoming Hokage. You might not be able to save the world, but you can still do some good, she said. You're wrong, said Naruto. You and I are different, Sakura. You save life, and I kill them. Have you not been listening to me, she said. People die, and that is the way the world works. Sakura realized that Naruto was not going to listen to her. As he was still pouting, she looked towards the wall clock. The morning shift was almost over. She was going to be late to work, as she would have to try to knock some sense into him later. She reached into her purse as some item that she hadn't picked up. As she placed the paper down, along with her house key. I have to go to work. Seeing that you're off duty, pick up these things for me. Drop them off at my apartment, and give me my house key back at the hospital, she said. Sakura, he said. All you want to do was lie in bed and count the number of boxes on the ceiling. No, I know you. I will not let you wallow in here the entire day. Like a frightened little boy afraid to go outside, she said. Get them for me, she said. I never had the time anymore. As he grabbed the paper, good, she said. As she walked towards the front door, I looked back at him. Remember, we work to live, not live to work. Time skip. As Naruto placed her herbs in his pocket. As he made his way near the Nara estate. As he was walking, dragging his feet, he felt like he was half. Like part of him was gone. He wondered if everyone felt like this when they lost their dreams. As Naruto saw a road ahead of him that he had promised not to walk again. But yet something inside him pushed him forward. As he started to walk, there was a building. Broken windows. It was in terrible shape. Here to abandon a child. As Naruto turned as he saw a woman in her 30s, hanging clothes on a line. No, said Naruto. The woman raised an eyebrow in shock. Then, you're here to adopt? You seem a bit young, but I'm not complaining. I'm glad that someone can at least get one of these monsters off my hands. Monsters? Said Naruto. Obviously, you've not been around children that much, she said, as she pulled him by his sleeve into the room. It was a small office. He remembered quite well, as he was pushed into a chair. What type do you want? Younger? Older? Normal? Or one of those chakra demons? Chakra demons, said Naruto. The woman sighed, exhaustedly. Ninja children, she said. She pulled out the folders and spread them across the table. I just need your papers and we'll be alright to sort this out. What papers? Said Naruto. The woman looked towards him. The papers you fill out at the Hokage's tower to prove that you're eligible. It's fine, she said. You can get them later. We can get started on the process here. Name, she said. As Naruto didn't expect this at all when he stepped down the path to see the orphanage. I know he was here trying to adopt a child. And yet a part of him was going with it. Naruto Uzumaki, he said. He was going to take one of the children home and save them from this hellish hole. And they were never going to be lonely again. That name sounded familiar, she said. As Naruto tapped his hand against his knee. What if she remembered him? How many do you want? The orphanage has too much. Since the new addition, she said. What do you mean? Said Naruto. The usual. That comes with war. And also victory celebration caused a lot of unwanted pregnancies. So we're pretty packed here. I see, said Naruto. So how many... Wait. Uzumaki? Her eyes snapped up towards him as she looked towards his cheeks. Oh god, don't hurt me, she said. She started to throw the item at Dex towards him. As Naruto raised his hand. Look, I'm not here to... It stopped. As he looked over to see the woman faint in her chair. He sighed as he heard something rush behind him, running on the hallway, giggling. He really didn't know why he was here as he got up. As he wandered the halls of painful memories. Even after all these years, he knew exactly where everything was. The hand-me-downs. The clothing that the kids wear. As they paid him no attention as they had their fun. Their bedrooms were overfilled with children. Some of them lying on the floor for an afternoon nap. As it was a closet. He heard a sniffle behind it. Someone was in there crying. As Naruto's eyes snapped as he grabbed the door handle and ripped off his hinges. He realized what the hell he just did as he dropped the door. There was no one in there. As he remembered his time here, in the closet, he had to get the hell out of here as he started to run out. He had done nothing wrong, but every day, it was torture. The walls were closing on him, trapping him. As he ran, he burst through a door and found himself tumbling over his own feet, into the grass. His clothes was drenched in sweat. He grabbed the wooden pole and pulled himself up. As he stored that back away, back in his subconscious, calming himself, as he saw the kids playing. He noticed two children that sat away from the crowd. The oldest had red, swirling eyes, like the UI clan, which marked her as different. The boy beside her, that was leaned on her shoulder, had scars that marked his body. As Naruto walked over and sat down, the girl gave him a distrustful glance. She looked to be about 7 years old. What do you want? If you want to get to Ichigo, you'll have to get to me first, she said. The little boy at her side peeked over as he was sucking his thumb. I just thought you'd want some company, said Naruto. As she narrowed her eyes. Who are you? You don't work here. If you're here to recruit me like the older children. No, I'm not going. I have to protect Ichigo, she said. Recruit, said Naruto. I'm just visiting, he said. As he looked around. I used to live here. She frowned. Why would you ever come back? I don't mean to, said Naruto. She looked at him up and down. They must have hated you. With that marks on your face. They hate people that are different here after all. As Naruto knew that all too well. Do they treat you badly? Typically. The ninja children that look normal have a tendency of running things around here. If you look different, you're a target, because I hate what they are, and take it out on you. But none of the staff hurt you, said Naruto. They tried to make us behave from time to time, but it never worked, she said, as she shrugged her shoulders. As Naruto almost snapped at the moment, he was glad. He was really glad that they didn't mistreated them like they did to him. Because that would have been the final straw. He would have lost it. With all the inhumane things he have seen so far, the things that had happened, that would have pushed him over the edge. It seems like fate was on everyone's side in Konoha today. As the kids were not treated badly by the staff. But he was curious. People came here trying to recruit you. What do you mean, he asked. Yeah, people try to recruit us in secret, but we all know that you're just paint and gangs. But sometimes, as she dig her foot in the ground, they make you feel wanted. And it's better than here, she said. As Naruto watched her look off in the distance. Let's do something, said Naruto. I have plenty of free time. You want to do something with us, she asked. Naruto nodded. Anything. Anything, she said. As he nodded once again. Do you know how to jump rope, she asked. Naruto gave a quizzical expression. I'm not really sure what it is, but I'll try. She got up with a squeal as she rushed towards a bush. As she went towards the fence. Aim, said Ichigo, as he was left alone, as she stuck her hand into the bush and pulled out something. As she came back, she placed Ichigo and Naruto in the position and gave them separate ends of the rope. You just have to rotate it, simple, she said, as she stood in the center. Go. Naruto was too fast or either too slow for Ichigo. The girl stomped over frustratedly as she pushed Naruto in the middle. I'll show you, she said. All you have to do is jump over the rope. Naruto's a ninja. This couldn't be too hard. Earth, wind, water, lightning, fire. Tell me the initial of your boyfriend's name, she said. What are you singing, said Naruto. You can't jump rope without a jump rope song, she said. As Naruto moved, it twisted her on his feet. Wait, let me try again. The song distracted me, he said, as he tried again. Even though he hardly got sleep, he had never felt so alive as he played with the both of them. Then the bell started to ring, alerting them that it was lunchtime. You'll come back, Aim asked Charlie, as Ichigo nodded, with his thumb in his mouth. Of course, said Naruto, as they looked up at him like he was the only person in the world. As Naruto went down on one knee. Someday, he said, I don't know when, I'm going to adopt you and Ichigo. Aim sucked in a breath, as she started to cry. Thank you, she said. As Naruto hugged her gently, he felt so big compared to her tiny frame. It might take me a while though. There's some things I need to sort out with Granny Snelle first. And I need to save some money, he said. He couldn't have them in his rundown apartment in the worst part of Konoha. But I'll come for you, I promise. As Ichigo took his thumb from his mouth when they had to go back inside as he waved goodbye towards Naruto. As Naruto felt like he had a purpose again. He'd protect these kids. As he leaped off, with a smile on his face. Time skip as Naruto entered the flower shop. As he saw Ino singing to herself. Ino, he said. She turned towards him. Naruto, I didn't think I would ever see you here. As she leaned forward with a smirk. Buying flowers for someone, she asked. I was actually picking something up for Sakura. Oh, that's right. I keep on forgetting to bring it home. As she went onto the counter and started to look for something. She then brought up a small, yellow liquid in a small vial. What's this, said Naruto. Nectar that she needed for one of her experiments. Naruto nodded as he took the vial. His eyes then caught sight of a lavender flower. On second thought, I do want to get someone flowers. Ino blinked. Really? Who is it for, she asked. Just a friend, said Naruto. Alright, she said, that smirk. But I don't exactly have any money. What? We just got paid, she said. I know, a long story. I owe you, said Naruto. I'll give it to you for free, but only because Shikamaru told me how concerned you was when I had to deal with that pig, she said. Not many people would incite a civil war over little old me, she said at ease. Is there anything you want the flowers to say in particular? Not really, he said. Then just go pick something, she said. As Naruto walked around as he went for the lavender flowers, as his eyes caught another and another, until he found the assortment that he wanted, as he brought to the Ino. As Ino looked towards his choices, the lavender flower in the middle, surrounding was a beautiful decor. As it seemed like he has an eye for this. As Naruto made his way after getting it. Meanwhile, the Hokage compound, Hinata served the tea to the elders. It pained her as she watched as he told Hanabi which document to sign and which not to sign. Hanabi should be outside with her friends like a normal teenager, but the only time she was not here was when she was on a mission with their genuine team. Otherwise, she was under their thumb. Always under their thumb. She stood next to the Brand's family, like a doll, until she was called upon. She didn't understand how those who were not a ninja endured this life always on their feet, hands and feet aching. As Neji stood there as a dedicated bodyguard, all of them knew that it was just a rule for the main family to watch him. She couldn't look him in the face anymore, as she felt like a failure. He did not feel her. She felt him. As she was sent as she made her way, they had to get dinner prepared. As she came to the quarter, she saw her relatives, giving her a giggling look. As she stopped one of her cousins, the young girl stopped and bowed. Despite her being a branch member now, they still gave her respect. As respect was not given, it was earned. Someone left you a present in front of the branch quarters. Present? Who? Don't know. Didn't anyone see the person? Asked Hinata. They say it was just a blur. Go see it. They put it on her bed. Almost all of them were spying on her as she peeked and looked inside, as everyone was thinking about a male member of the Hokage household, wondering who the secret admirer was. Hinata was speechless at the bouquet of flowers that were on her bed. She thought it was from Kiba, for set on the whole, Naruto fiasco. As for the first time since her father died, a genuine smile came on her face. Meanwhile, the hospital. After returning Sakura keys, Naruto went to visit Tomo, but the medical room was empty. But he went to his mother's room, and Tomo's mother's room was empty. As he saw the nurse, where's the lady that was in here, he asked. Oh, she passed away last night. Time skip. Deijo, said Naruto, as there was a guitarist playing his guitar. At the corner, have you seen Tomo? Things are getting dangerous out here. Maybe Tomo got caught up in that. What do you mean, said Naruto. Are people bothering you again? He couldn't understand why some people consider a singing homeless man a problem. No, the gangs are getting more violent. After Yuto, clan was wiped out. All the other clans are trying to gain more territory and wipe down the others. As Naruto cursed, if he had knew that, he would have just wiped out the leader and not the gang. Stay safe. If you want anything, just let me know. The man laughed. I want a palace that goes all the way up to the sky, he said in a humor tone. Maybe not anything, said Naruto. Well, all the poor man's got is his dream. Tell me if you find him, okay? Yeah, said Naruto as he made his way off. Time skip. Sticky. Have you seen Tomo, said Naruto. As his voice was a bit panicked now. Hours had passed. Pick a cup, any cup, said Sticky, as he moved the cups over the cardboard box. And no ninja funny business. You cannot swing at someone that has no money, said Naruto. Well, they can get in debt, said Sticky. But no, I haven't seen Tomo. Last I heard he was in the hospital, that a gang beat him up. I think your ghosts came back to kill him. Well then, have you seen any ghosts around near the axe? Not in lately, said Sticky. Thanks, said Naruto, as he then pat himself down. Wallet, said Naruto. You're right, you are broke, said Sticky, as he pulled the wallet out of nowhere and tossed it back to Naruto. I guess you're no better off than the rest of us. Moments later, Miko, Akashi, have you seen Tomo? It was now night time. Haven't seen the runt, Miko said, as Naruto remembered what happened between the both of them. Under the new coat that she wore, the scars were there when he held her so tightly. Didn't know you did so young, sweet cheeks, Akashi said, as she lit up a cigarette. Akashi was only a year younger than Naruto. In the pale moonlight, he could see bruises running down her face. What happened, said Naruto. She twirled a cigarette around her fingers. Just another client, she said. Miko looked at Naruto. Some like it rough, she said. Naruto felt ill. I'm not like that. I didn't mean to. Miko shrugged. A man then near them as he turned to Naruto. How much for one? He's not our pimp, Akashi said. I'll take you though. As the two started to discuss rates. Wait, said Naruto, as Miko stopped him. What? I have to stop them, she said. Don't you go dare take the moral high ground on us. What are you exactly? Your pimp in that big tower always tell you what to do. And what a service. You never question, you just do as you're told. Then you get paid for it afterwards. You ninjas open your soul as much as we open our legs. We're the same, so where do you get off saying that always wrong, she said. I refuse to work for a pimp. Or in the brothels. At least I get to choose my own clients. And I don't have to follow any strict rules. Can you say the same, she asked. What are a few bruises compared to a ninja who can barely escape for his life? An image of all the faces he had killed in recent months flashed in front of his eyes. As he simply walked away. Time skip. Naruto walked into the strip club. A flush covered his face as he saw naked women all over. He pushed past people as he made his way to the door at the back. As he walked inside one of Konoha's most dangerous drug dens. As the leader was there, with a tattoo of a dragon, Genki, said Naruto. As Genki looked up, he raised the eyebrow. The great Uzumaki Naruto. What brings you here to my place of business? Have you seen Tomo, said Naruto. Black hair kid, 12. Works for you from time to time. Genki sighed. There's plenty of kids working for me, he said. Naruto had hope coming in here nicely would work, but it seems not. In a second, the table was broken to pieces as Genki was being pressed up against the wall. His men tried to get their feet. Now, answer my question. Or I will happily show you what happened to Yuta and his man. Genki gulped. He had some of the best underground ninja working for him, but none of them would dare go after Naruto Uzumaki. I haven't seen the kid, Genki said. I swear. I thought he was dead. It isn't like people just don't go missing all the time. As Naruto put away the kunai, thanks, he said. As Naruto saw a boy about to sniff some white powder off the table, he grabbed him by the shirt and picked him up. As he walked outside and threw him on the ground. Is that what you were doing when you dropped Kimi off at my house, said Naruto. Where is she, Katsuyu? A friend, Katsuyu said, as he picked himself up. Who do you think you are, the 16-year-old argue? You can't tell me what to do. Naruto crossed his arms. I know that you've been working with a weapon dealer, but where does the money go? Are you taking care of her? Or are you taking care of yourself? Katsuyu's eyes were red, and Naruto saw the puncture mark of a needle all over his arm. How dare you, Katsuyu spat. She's my sister, and that's none of your business. Stay out of it. Not having a family of yours doesn't mean you should go into everyone's business. As he swung a punch as Naruto caught it, he tried to pull his hand back, but he had no success. I never asked for your help. Let me go. I'm just trying to make sure you're alright. Katsuyu laughed. Nothing is alright. Everything is messed up in this world. Nothing makes sense but the high. It's the only thing that ever makes sense. You're stronger than that, said Naruto. We can't let this beat us. I'm afraid I'm not, he said, as he disappeared inside. As Naruto wiped his face, as he wondered if he was stronger than his cruel world either. As he made his way back home, he was gonna search even the countryside of Konoha if he had to find Tomo. He brought out his key as he pressed in the door, but the door pushed open. It was already unlocked. As Naruto saw Tomo heard the door as he lifted his head up. As Naruto saw the marks under his eyes, he had been crying the entire time. You want some ramen, said Naruto, as Tomo wiped the remaining of tears under his eyes. As Tomo seemed lifeless, as Naruto got to work on the ramen, he had to pick up Tomo and brought him to the chair. I know you probably haven't eaten all day, as he sat in silence, as Naruto didn't know what to say. I wish I had something to say that would make you feel better, said Naruto. I don't want to feel better, said Tomo. Yeah, a friend I had told me I would never understand. He lost his parents too, but because I didn't have any in the first place, I wouldn't understand. That is what he told me, said Naruto. Your friends sound like an ass, Tomo said. Having a mother is better than not having one at all. Wait, how could you never have any parents, Tomo said. You had to come from somewhere. Oh, they died in the day I was born, so I never really knew them, said Naruto. I kind of have an idea of what they were like in my head, he said, laughing at his own inside joke. So you've been by yourself all of your life, Tomo said. Naruto wondered how the conversation turned on him, but at least it was distracting Tomo from his grief of losing his mother. No, not at all. I had my teammates, then Sasuke left. There was a perfect stage, but then he died. I have all my Ichiraku and Ayam. I also have a lot of friends, he said. I never see any friends visiting, except for that pink-haired lady, said Tomo. They're really busy, said Naruto, defending them. I indeed have a lot of friends. Tomo nodded, as he knew that in Naruto's bedroom, there was a team picture face down on the dresser. But that was the only thing. Hey, what about aunts and uncles and cousins? No, none of that, said Naruto. Tomo had an aunt in a neighboring village. He had a cousin that worked in the capital. He didn't have his mom anymore, but he had family somewhere. Aren't you ever lonely? Tomo asked, as Naruto empty denial was on the tip of his tongue. As he didn't remember, as he looked at Tomo, do you want to stay? Stay what? I mean stay here with me, said Naruto. I could get another bed and move in some of your things. Tomo almost cried in relief. He'd rather stay here than go to an aunt or uncle that he barely even knew. He had been afraid that Naruto would say no though, that is why he never asked. Hey, are we gonna eat ramen for dinner every night, he asked. Well, I guess not if you don't want to, said Naruto. Tomo twirled his noodles. But what am I gonna do when you're gone, he said. I'm gonna leave a shadow clone. It will be like I'm always here. No, said Tomo. I mean, when you die. What? I'm not Naruto, you're a ninja, said Tomo. Ninjas always end up dead. Well, I don't plan to go out anytime soon, said Naruto. Nothing ever goes as planned, Tomo said. You could just stop being a ninja. As Naruto was caught off guard by that. How am I supposed to pay for the ramen? And the bills? Get a normal job. But I can't, said Naruto. As he tried to think of himself as anything but a ninja, but he could not. What if some crazy guy tried to take over the world again? And I'm the only one that can stop him. That doesn't make any sense. You're not the only ninja in the world. But I'm different, Tomo. People rely on me to protect the village. Tomo frowned. Why? Why you? Because what you want to say was he had a demon in his stomach. and he was a weapon of mass destruction. Because, said Tomo. Fine. As Naruto couldn't come up with the answer, but he still can do it. Go ahead and kill yourself. As he tried not to cry. I know it's not fair, said Naruto. This world's not a pretty place. But none of that matters right now, because we have each other. As Tomo collapsed into tears, after 3 years of being responsible for his mother, praying that she would come out of this bad health, smuggling drugs in and out of Konoha. He felt like he wasn't alone anymore. Time skipped. Tomo fell asleep, as Naruto could not sleep, as he made his way straight towards the tower, as the office was still open. As he jumped inside through the window, as Tsunade was about to pack up, as she saw him, she noticed his lack of sleep. Change your mind, she said. Actually, no, he said. She frowned. Then you want to retire from ANBU? Not that either, he said. I actually kind of need the money. And you're planning to do what, she asked. She knew him enough, knowing that money was a low priority in his mind. I'm planning on moving. She smiled at that happily. Perhaps you should think about buying a plot of land to rebuild the prowess of the Uzumaki clan in the future. Yeah, whatever. Let's say I might want to adopt a kid. What do I have to do, he asked. Tsunade was surprised by that. But there's a lenient criteria, she said. You have to make a certain amount of money. And you have to have no criminal records, that sort of thing. You won't be able to adopt until you retire from ANBU. Why not, said Naruto. The job is too dangerous, and since you're the only left of their clan, if you adopt and something happens, they will be sent back to the orphanage. It's not advisable. Even so, some missions can be for months at a time. You can't simply leave a child alone. The amount of chocolate that was needed to handle a child while you're out on a mission will affect you both ways. There are reasons. These rules are in place, she said. Naruto folded his arms. What do I have to do to build an orphanage, he said. Tsunade looked at him confused. We already have one. It's not enough. We need another one, he said. Fine, she said. All public projects must have a written proposal, and all these forms must be filled out. Once it passed by me, must go to the council, and you have to convince them why. We need a second orphanage. As Naruto blinked, all these forms? But he scooped up in his arms. I also want 3/4 of my earnings to be donated to the existing orphanage. What? Naruto, I can see how passionate you are about this, but 3/4 is a bit overboard. I can meet do, said Naruto. And I also want the Ichi royals to be transported to a private saving account. Tsunade pouted for personal reasons. I still haven't paid off all my gambling debts. Granny, Naruto pleaded. Fine. Any other demand, she asked. No, said Naruto. Well then, let's talk. What brought all of this on, she asked. I realize I don't need to be Hokage to do good things. And I'm not gonna give up on peace neither. I just decided to change my focus. I can't save everyone, but that is not gonna stop me from trying. And I'll start by saving the kids. I know that without the third or Aruka, I would have probably turned out a lot different than who I am right now. I could have easily become Sasuke or Pain. But what made the difference for me? As a determined look came on his face. Sometimes, all it takes is someone to care. A smile tugged at Tsunade's lips here and that. I know I yelled at you all the time, but I'm proud of you. Of the man that you're becoming, Hokage or not, she said, as she went into her drawer and pulled out a necklace. As Naruto blinked in surprise. I believe this is yours. She had fixed it. As Naruto took it and put it on, as it felt right. And get some sleep, she shouted at him. Naruto spent the night at Jiraiya, Gravestone, before he returned back home. As he unlocked the door, he realized he had the wrong apartment. He was really tired, as he locked by the door. Wait, how could he have the wrong apartment if he had the key? He looked up. He opened by the apartment. As he looked inside, everything was just clean and organized. He wondered if someone robbed him and placed everything in the correct position. I told you I would have a heart attack, the clone said, as Tomo was at the sink washing dishes. Yo, this shy clone thing is weird. It's like you're here but not. I'm definitely not gonna get used to this. As Naruto clone poofed away, as Naruto got memories. Even everything in the bathroom was organized. Tomo was a clean freak, and that was because of his mother. When she was getting sick, before she was sick, she was always cleaning. And when she got sick, he was the one that took up the responsibility, doing it for so long. He just couldn't stand by and watch a dirty house, especially if he was living in it. As Naruto scratched his head as he looked towards the 12-year-old kid, this made him look really bad. As he didn't clean his apartment. Well, I guess ramen for breakfast. No, Tomo said. Ramen for 3 meals a day. Didn't your mother ever... He paused. I'll fix some breakfast, he said. Wait, you cook? How have you survived for so long, Tomo asked. Right now you got me wondering, said Naruto. Time skip. I thought you said no jutsu, said Naruto as he spat up blood. The rules are for students who pay attention, said Tiger, as he was in his fighting pose. After an ANBU first field mission, they are assigned to an ANBU captain membership. Naruto had no idea why Tiger picked him. According to rumors, Tiger even fought Snake over him. Tiger could give Naruto specialized solo missions, but all he liked to do was cut him up into pieces with his blade. As Tiger slammed a heel on his back. You're getting worse, Tiger said, as Naruto was using his clones and everything. But given recent times and Tiger constantly need to see something rather new and improving, it was being troublesome to catch up. As he picked Naruto up, he looked over Naruto for a moment. Come back, only if you want to die. As he dropped Naruto. What does that even mean, said Naruto. But Tiger went over and sat down in his meditative position, closing his eyes. As he went to the medical ward, after getting patched up, he returned back to training. Well, many people have some obsessions. Naruto wasn't sure that he had one, although he was going back to training after he just finished training. The mark on his arm started to burn, as he was called to the office, along with Owl, Butterfly, and Squid. As Naruto immediately noticed the foreign ninja, who wore a white mask with a cloud symbol, Land of Lightning. The ANBU captain, Cat, stood stoic between the foreign ninja and the Hokage, abandoning any sign of trust. Tsunade spoke, we've been conditioned by the Land of Lightning. Your target is Hishiki Nagiba, the wealthiest landowner in Land of Lightning. All of them got a perplexed look on their face. Tsunade already knew that it was there despite having their mask on. Nagiba is very close to the Land of Lightning daimyo and has been advocating the ambition of ninja to his service. Recently, his wife has suffered a death, and Nagiba family is traveling to Land of Falls for the funeral. Since the cloud is acting independently, they risk repercussions if the mission turns out badly. Out of good faith, Land of Fire has accepted the mission. The cloud ANBU huff. Is it really necessary for them to know the details? I want them to understand the gravity of the mission, said Tsunade. Because of Nagiba's distrust of ninjas, he has hired a retired samurai to escort him and his family. The target is Nagiba, but there cannot be any witnesses or traces of our involvement. Owl, this is the folder, the expected route that Nagiba will take. She turned to the cloud ANBU. Are you sure the information is correct? We would send our own ninjas out with that information. Our sources are trustworthy. Are you sure your own ninjas can handle it? They are my elite. Of course they can. You know where to meet, said Tsunade, as they all placed their fingers on tattoo, as he poofed away. Time skip. This looked like the best place, said Owl, as he crouched on the tree branch, as Naruto leaned up against it, over to the other side. We will set up the traps right here, said the Owl. Hopefully, we'll be able to catch the samurai's int as well, and that will give us a clear target towards Nagiba. As he pulled out the crossbow that he got from the supply room. Squid, you have the best aim, so you will take the shot. Once we kill Nagiba, the 4 samurais he had escorting him will most likely come after us. We'll lead them into another trap, he said, as he slipped his finger across the map. Even if the samurai survive, they will still be wounded, and we should be able to take them out easily enough. If push comes to shove, samurais are masters at Kinjutsu, so it would be better to hit them with long-range attacks. Once they're taken care of, mission complete. Squid and Butterfly will set up traps along the mountain. I will set a trap for the samurais. Crow, you will do recon. I can use my strike clones and do more than that. Sorry, even I don't trust you with delicate explosions, said Butterfly. Let us take care of the trap. Crow, I want you to place clones along the route and keep us updated. We need you to let us know when they're coming. Fine, he said with a sigh, as he created 20 clones, and they disappeared into the forest. Moments later, he was on top of the tree in sage mode, as he sensed them coming around the bend. The first thing he sensed was a chakra of the samurais. It was the same as a civilian. It seems that they didn't have much. Given the armor that they were wearing and the weapons strapped all over them, they looked like quite deadly foes, but they were mostly adapted into Kinjutsu. The clone poofed away as Crow got the information. Owl. Report, said Owl. The target just passed checkpoint 5, Crow said. We have a visual confirmation on 4 samurais, each walking on each side of the wagon. There are also 5 people riding inside. The windows are covered, so I've yet to see the targets. Copy. Comparing space of time between your report and this last one. I believe they will be upon us in about 5 hours. Plenty of time for us to finish it up. Keep reporting back if their speed changes. No problem. As Crow leaned up against a tree. Time skip. Crow! Crow! Damn it, Naruto, where are you, Shikamaru? The radio headset fell from his ear as he snapped awake, as he was bombarded with information in his mind. Past checkpoint 4. Crew eyes widen. The target has been getting impatient and will order the samurai to speed up. Oh no, said Naruto. Past checkpoint 5. As he scrambled for the earpiece. Past checkpoint 2. Owl. Crow. Crow. I'm here, said Naruto. Owl released a sigh of relief. I thought you were dead. What happened? How did they pass you? Naruto's voice caught in his throat as he realized what he just did. He fell asleep on a mission. For the past week he wasn't able to get any rest. Shit, he says. He activated the radio once again. What happened? I was setting the traps when I was radioed in by Butterfly and Squid that they were engaged in an enemy. Both parties were caught by surprise. I circle around. I'm engaged in a situation now. They're right in front of each other. Butterfly is weaving a lie. Why we're out here. I need you to get in position for a surprise attack. I'm honest, said Naruto. You reported 5 people inside the carriage. Yes, I did, said Naruto. I'm sure about it, there was 5. 2 of your account was samurais riding inside. Our source of information was deceived. We're 4 against 6. Hurry and get your ass over here. I swear to you, we're just investigating a murder that happened close by here. Butterfly said as she lied, smoothly. They had their hands in the air, away from their weapons. You're a leaf ninja, the commander of the samurai said. In the land of sound. You're lying, as a man stuck his head outside. That matched the same image on the photograph. Leaf has an alliance to the cloud. They want me dead. We have no idea who you are, Butterfly said. Don't believe their ninja lies. Kill the both of them with Nagiba. The static went off through. Activate the paper bombs now. As Naruto quickly leaped out of the trees and made his way towards the walls. Butterfly, Squid, Crow is activating the paper bombs. Get ready to move. I'll take care of the target. As Naruto activated the paper bomb, he flashed beside Owl. As chaos ensued, the horse went off as the wagon turned over. The samurais regained their composure, seeing that they were aware, as they went directly after Squid and Butterfly. The others are in trouble, he says. He jumped down rather quickly, without any hesitation. Crow, wait, Owl said, but Naruto already jumped in. This mission was spiraling downwards by the minute. When the smoke cleared, the battlefield was set. As Squid stood on top of a giant lion made from ink, while Crow, 2 of his clones were behind the samurais, cornets at their throat. Never trust a ninja, the commander said. At ease, man. Ninjas only travel in groups of 3 or 4. The rest must be clones. Sir, I don't know about that. It feels pretty solid to me. As the samurai gulped, feeling the kunai at his throat. Before Crow could do anything, Takeda yelled. Ninjas are lying deceiving bastards. It's a trick. My lord, get in the wagon at once. There might be... The commander was cut off as a kunai whipped through the air and pierced through the man's neck. The man's wife screamed when she saw what happened. As Squid, Ink Lion, pounced towards one of the samurais. The commander twists his katana, getting covered in chakra as he sliced right through it. As Owl landed right on top of the wagon, as his shadow spread out and captured 2 of the samurais. Everything went to hell already. These samurais were trained to kill ninjas. Their katanas had a long reach, far better than kunais. As Owl flashed 2 hand signs, shadow net by ninjutsu, he said. His shadow started to go up until it stopped at their waist. He was confused, as he saw the samurai start to meditate, and his technique started to falter. He had never faced opponents with such mental focus before. He released the technique on one of the samurais that was stronger, and focused on one of them that he had a better grip on. The free samurai leaped towards Owl. Now that he was free, we shall not fall for your tricks, his blade extending. But Owl pushed more chakra in his jutsu and crushed the neck of the samurai that he held onto, while the other one came down on him. He then tilted his head just in time as a blade cut in his shoulder. As he jumped back as he ran straight up the mountain, the samurai looked up. Ninjas and their chakra, he said. They did not have much chakra, more than the average ninja, but they spent a lifetime of learning how to control what they had. As he stabbed his blade into the wall, he sent chakra into it, as the wall started to break apart. As Owl lost his footing, as everything came crumbling down, the samurai leaped from rock to rock, going straight up towards Owl, as Owl deflected with his own blade, as they landed backwards on fallen rocks. The moment they landed towards the ground, Shadow so in jutsu, Owl said. The samurai blade got covered in chakra as he cut right through the technique, as a few of them sliced into his body, but he sliced through the rest of them. I will kill you, he said, in honor the death of my fallen comrade. Owl cursed, as the wound in his shoulder was really conflicting him at the moment, and he was using too much chakra. He placed his hand together as the samurai shot forward. The samurai, moving with incredible speed, wanted to end this now before he fired off that jutsu. This was the ninja's weakest moment when they prepared their hand sign. A bead of sweat ran down Owl's forehead as the samurai pulled his blade back as he pushed, as Owl tilted his body, so it wouldn't be a single fatality, but the blade went right through flesh. The samurai smirked, but he couldn't see the smirk on Owl's face. Shadow, so in jutsu. One single needle, made from shadow, shot forward and pierced right through the samurai's heart, bursting right through his armor. He realized that he was lured closer. Damn it, as blood came from his lips, as he collapsed on the ground in a clank of metal. A massive explosion went off at the base of the mountain as Owl was thrown off his feet. He tried to pick himself up, but his body was in a lot of pain as he looked up towards the clouds passing overhead, oblivious to what was going on below them. Shikamaru could be thinking about his teammates, or the recent news that his mother confirmed that he would soon be an older brother, or Temari, or perhaps life, future, death. But all that he was thinking about right now was absolutely nothing. As he watched the clouds overhead, he was thinking about nothing, no ingenious plan to get himself out of this, and it was rather glorious. As he held his wound, a stream of blood flew from the cracks of his fingers, as he watched all the clouds lazily drift by. But guys, if you ain't subscribed right here, if you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notification as they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Hope of the Uchiha clan on this channel, and enjoy that guys. And I also post a brand new episode over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Was Exiled from the Uzumaki clan, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. And also, I post a brand new episode over Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Was the legendary Uchiha X Namikaze, so go ahead and check out that as well and enjoy. And remember, for new to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.